Technical and option chain analysis. So today's date is 28th of November. So now let's go to the Nifty chart and let's see what has Nifty done today. So if we see today's opening, that is around at 12,132, and if we see yesterday's closing, that is around at 12,112. It means 20 points of gap up opening. In the very first 15-minute candlestick chart, we can clearly see that Nifty filled the gap. And if we see yesterday's uptrend, let me draw the uptrend line. Yeah. So this was the uptrend line. We can clearly see that on a day before yesterday, Nifty took a support of this trend line, and even yesterday we can see that two times Nifty took a support of this trend line. So we can clearly see that after first 15 minutes, Nifty filled the gap and it started the uptrend. So as we can clearly see that 12,130 acted as a strong resistance for the Nifty over here. We can see the high of the first 15 candle, that is around at 12,136, and even if we see further, Nifty tried to go further upside from here, but again it was rejected. And if we see around at 145, we can clearly see that Nifty broke this uptrend line. But we can see the very next candle, it started the upside. We can see the low of that candle is not broke. Now, if we see on the 5-minute candlestick chart, let me draw the next trend line we have. See, this was the So if we see on a 5-minute candlestick chart, if we see around at 2, Nifty started the upside, and further we can see that around 250 and at 255 Nifty took a support of this trend line, and we can clearly see that Nifty gave a big bullish upside, and finally Nifty closed around at 12,155. So now let's go to the option chain and we'll try to find out support and resistance for the 29th of November on Friday. So as Nifty closed around at 12,154, we'll start our analysis with 12,200. And as today was an expiry day, so now we are going to discuss an option chain which is going to expire on 5th of December. So now let's see what we have at 12,200 strike price. So if we see at 12,200 strike price, we can see the net change is minus 27, and as the change in open interest is plus 2.2 lakh contracts, it means the put writers or put seller sold the contracts at this strike price. And if we see the cumulative open interest, that is only 3.1 lakh contract. If we see further above side at strike price 12,100, we can see the net change is minus 22, and the change in open interest is plus 8.3 lakh contracts, and the cumulative open interest is almost 13 lakh contracts. So it means the put writers or put seller sold the contracts in a decent number at strike price 12,100. Now, if we see further downside at strike price 12,000, we can see the change in open interest is almost 11 lakh contracts, and the cumulative open interest is almost 20 lakh contracts. It means after studying these three strike prices, we can clearly see that put writers or put sellers sold the contracts in the highest number at strike price 12,000. So now let's go to the call side and we will try to find the resistance. So if we see at strike price 12,200, we can see the net change is minus 1 and the change in open interest is 4.5 lakh contracts. It means the call writers or call sellers sold the contracts at this strike price. Now if we see further downside at strike price 12,100, we can see the net change is plus 4 and the change in open interest is 4.2 lakh contracts. It means the call buyers bought the contracts at this strike price. Now, if we see for the upside at strike price 12,300, we can see the change in open interest is 3.9 lakh contracts and the cumulative open interest is 7.7 lakh contracts. So, after studying these three strike prices, we can clearly see still the highest cumulative open interest is at strike price 12,100. That is almost 9.7 lakh contracts. It means the call writers or call seller who sold the contracts at this strike price, they have not unwind their position at the strike price 12,100. And even if we see at call put side, we can see the put writers or put seller are selling the contracts in a higher number at downside at 12,000. We can see that today's change in open interest is 8.3 lakh at strike price 12,100. But if we see above downside at 12,000, we can see the put writers or put seller sold the contracts in a higher number at strike price 12,000. This expects some weakness in the Nifty for tomorrow. So after studying this option chain, if we want to bound a Nifty, then according to my analysis, this is going to be a 12,250 to 12,000. We can see the put writer selling the contracts at downside, and if we see at the call side, we can see still the highest cumulative open interest is at strike price 12,100. So thank you friends for watching this video, and if you like it, then please subscribe our channel and hit the like button. Thank you friends.